Hello, JPU family. Welcome to another episode of Jamaica Politics Uncovered. This is the morning after the US election, the general election of 2024. I'm sure that everyone knows by now that Donald Trump won the election. I am sure that many of you stayed up all night tracking the results. JPU was going to come live last night to do an election watch party. But when I was looking at the election results coming in and realized that it was going to be an all-night event, I decided not to come because there wasn't much to talk about. At one point, right before I fell asleep, the numbers were stuck for more than an hour. So I figured, this is going to be a slow and long night. As it turned out, I believe the result was declared for Donald Trump at around 3:30 to 4 a.m. this morning. Now, how do I feel about the result of the election? If you follow JPU, you will know that I supported Kamala Harris. I campaigned for her, canvassed for her. And as I said, I'm proud that I decided to support her. You see, in life, standing on the side of what is right and on the right side of history, in my view, is always more important than winning. Winning is a bonus. Kamala Harris and her campaign team did everything right. She had a very short window to campaign, get her message out there, go to the people. We've never seen this in history. She had a very short time. When we look at the results and the numbers, she did very good. Now that the dust is settled, everyone will now ask, what caused the outcome? Why was it so close between a qualified, upstanding candidate in Kamala Harris and an unstable candidate in Donald Trump? A man who caused the insurrection of the U.S. Capitol in 2020 when he lost the election, calling up election officials asking for 11,000 more votes, demanding, pressuring them into giving him 11,000 more votes. The financial crimes that he was convicted for in New York City. Guys, the list is long. When Donald Trump's former cabinet members, including prominent generals and military senior people, vice president, when they came out and said that Donald Trump was unstable, is unfit, many Americans believed them, including the Republicans who decided they're not going to support him. They believe these guys, in addition to what they have seen of Donald Trump in the public. But despite that, he won. Now let me talk about what I feel were the major contributors to why Donald Trump won. First, never underestimate the power of vote buying. We saw what Elon Musk did in Pennsylvania, where Trump lost in 2020, a crucial state to win, offering voters the chance to win $1 million. Election interference is a federal crime. He's being sued for what he did. We saw the same election fraud in the PNP carried out by Mark Golding. First in Jamaica's history, $10 million to elect him party president. Now, what is it about the characteristics of these men who are an ocean away, but they share the same characteristic of disrupting democracy with money, shamelessly? One of the pillars of democracy is free and fair election. And they cannot just allow the process to work and allow people to vote by free will. They have to disrupt it. They have to interrupt it. They have to use money to influence it. Why? Because they have a saying that goes, if you want to know how rich a man is, take away his money and see what he has left. They're afraid that without the influence of money, they won't get enough support to give them power. And this says a great deal about what they bring to the table, or lack thereof. If they brought something to the table, brought something to the people, including integrity, policies, and so on, and if they were able to persuade the people to trust them and believe in them and what they're selling in terms of policies and so forth, then they wouldn't have to do that with money. Elon Musk, on behalf of Donald Trump, disrupted democracy in that state with $1 million. And in Jamaica, Mark Golding disrupted democracy within the People's National Party with $10 million. Aside from the election interference, which in that state, if Trump didn't win it, he probably would not have won the election. There is a serious case in America of obsession with Hollywood, obsession with celebrities, obsession with psychopathological behavior. That has been the case in America for a very long time. It's just that we didn't really see it in our politics. We have seen so many celebrities fall off the wagon right before our very eyes. From young women to young men who get into drugs, emotional problems, messy relationships and breakups. You have the paparazzis who follow them, stalk them, and they disseminate information about them. And the public seems to crave this kind of stuff. They want to see the next worst thing. What is the next worst thing that is going to happen? And they gravitate to it, and they sort of glorify people who demonstrate these types of behavior. This photograph here, I think, was a painting done by someone of Lindsay Lohan when she fell off the wagon. She is an actress. I haven't seen her in a very long time, but she fell apart right before us. It's the same thing with Trump. A lot of people became obsessed with him. He at one point tapped into the Hollywood crowd where he had a show called, Celebrity Apprentice on TV. And you would see him at these different Hollywood events and fundraisers and things like that. And he started, to make his way into that crowd. And people saw Donald Trump as somebody who portrayed himself as very wealthy and tough talking and all this kind of stuff. Now, when he made his way into our politics, people didn't know what to do with him. From the sensible people them who did not vote for him, or the people who left the Republican Party because of him, average people, they didn't know what the politics had become. And then you had a hijack of the Republican Party. Some of them decided to leave. Some of them even went to jail and got prosecuted, And this is what the Republican Party has become. Now, as for the voters, the truth of the matter is, in America, too many people are illiterate in this country. You have that, you have the disinformation and the misinformation. It's crazy, But like I said, I am very happy to have stood on the right side and on the right side of history. We saw one term of Donald Trump. I don't know how people could even go to his rallies and listen to him, because he speaks nothing of substance. And that's why people like Elon Musk has to come in and use $1 million in a battleground state to influence voters. This is what it is. Moving forward, Kamala Harris will concede because she's decent and she respects the process, the election process. You concede and you move on. But I hope the biggest enablers in all of this, the mainstream media and the Republican Party, I hope they're ready, especially the mainstream media, because as much as you will hear say this country in America is the best country and greatest country in the world, it is a democratic country, and sometimes democracy can be messy. That's fine. That's okay. But people like Jamaican people and, Haitian people and others who we often hear the term third world affiliated with these developing countries. I am 100% certain that these countries would not have a Donald Trump as president or prime minister. So next time we hear the word third world country, we need to look around and see who are really third world country. People like me supported Harris because we felt like it was the right thing to do, and it is the right thing to do. Unfortunately, we did not see that play out in the majority of voters. It was a close race, yes. When the polls and the pundits said it was a close race, yeah, they were right. It's a very close race. And kudos to everybody who decided to stand up against a second term of Trump. It was the right thing to do. Nothing lasts forever. Donald Trump is temporary. But this moment in history is etched in stone. We stood on the right side, unapologetic, right? So life goes on. We'll see what happens in the next few years. We'll see what a second term Donald Trump cabinet looks like. We will see what happens to the immigrants of this country and everything else that he spoke of. Stay tuned, guys. This is Jamaica Politics Uncovered. Let us see how this will influence Jamaica and Jamaicans, if at all. Let us see if Andrew Holness will come out and say congratulations to Donald Trump. Let us see if Mark Golding will. We know Mark Golding is in favor of Trump because Mark Golding came out and said if Obama did not have to give up his Kenyanship, why Mark Golding has to give up his British citizenship. We know where Mark Golding get that talking point from. Donald Trump is the only person who said that Obama wasn't born in America and this and that. So Mark Golding will take up Donald Trump talking point. I'm a Trump supporter, man. Make no mistake about it. Anyway, guys, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that you are following this channel and inviting your friends. Thank you for watching. Take care until next time.